Hi everyone, and welcome to this Friday's tutorial where we are going to draw a carp, big fish, and I will be doing this with a black color pencil. But of course you can also do this in graphite or charcoal or whatever medium you have, and I have a pencil eraser to correct mistakes, of course. And what is very important in this drawing is that we also draw in the surroundings of that fish. So here on the left corner you can see the water surface, as here on the right there is a kind of deepness and darkness. The hind of the fish gets blurry, and what we also will be putting in are water plants that are floating on the surface. So those are very important too. They're behind the fish. And here in front I will be drawing some rocks and more water plants with more detail, and in the deep it will blur out. Now when we look at this carp, which is with a P actually, but they can get very fat, so you can also call them carps, is that for instance here the line is 14 centimeter and half of that fish is head, so that head really pops in front, so keep that in mind too. And of course on my Patreon page you can get loads more tips and you can get the downloads for your study purposes. Now make sure to use a smooth drawing paper, which is not too thin and very smooth indeed. And for this drawing I will start out with putting in that beak, and the beak is open. So that is helping to get a interesting picture, because you can look inside the mouth. And here I'm drawing in that nose, and there are a lot of lines in the face of this carp. They have some kind of little, I don't know how you call that, some kind of whiskers or something by the side of the mouth that I draw in a little bit. And the eye is also very important, so here I'm positioning the eye, and there are a lot of lines around them, and those eyes are popping out. And of course the carp is a bit like a goldfish. They're related, and they can get very fat and very old. And here I'm correcting the lip a little bit. I'm not happy with that. I want to make it a little bit thicker. They have quite big lips, and the inside of the mouth is rounded. So I make sure that the shadows that I put in there are placed rounded, so you can get the idea that you are looking inside. Here is kind of a dent. Maybe it's his nose or something. And I put a little bit of shadow just behind the eye to make it pop out even better. And the black color pencil is very nice for putting in shadow, but that will be the same case with your graphite pencils. So by pressing lighter and harder, you can really get that smooth feel of shadow and get in that roundness of that head. Here I'm moving further towards the queues, and just behind the queues will be the first side fin. So I place that in already also, and I divide the fins up. I will demonstrate that with the other fin, which is wide open in this case. First I draw in the outer line, and then I simply place in all those little segments on that fin. I go down from the body and then go up from the lowest line of the fin. So this is a very easy to do, and you instantly get that great effect of a fin. Here I will work farther on the markings on the head itself. And of course, you can find this drawing on my Patreon, but you can also find millions of pictures of carps and beautiful fishes on Google Images, and you can use also those for your study purposes. I think it's important to get the head right when you start this drawing, because if you should mess this up, just throw it away and start over before putting in all those surroundings. And this is that eye that is popping out. I'm happy with that. And here I put in the lines of where the floating water plants will be, and they will come from behind our fish. Then I have to place the outer line for the body. Get that belly a bit thicker. And they can get really fat, these fish, but this is the kind that is, well, not that fat, but it's quite a big fish. And this is the back fin, which is very important too, of course. And also here I do about the same as I did with the fins, the side fins. I place in little shadows just in between my lines. Now the scales on top of the body are somewhat smaller because, well, it goes round. And then from there I draw in all the scales that are on the body. I try to keep the shape as simple as possible, but I do cover all of the body with those scribbly lines. I just attach the letter N with each other, which is sideways, and this will make very quickly and easily a scaled body. This is the other fin, and here I'm already putting some shadow on top of that body, and to get that feel of shine. Then it's time for the second leaf that is floating on the surface of the water. This is where the plant is going downwards. And once you have those in, you can start putting in some rocks which are in front. And now and then I visit the zoo, and I love to go to the water basins and some of our zoos have very big water basins, aquaria, and I love to stare in. And of course the rocks that are in front are most visible, while in the back they get more blurry and blurry. But this gets that great feel of perspective. So there is a underwater landscape going on. And that is why I wanted to draw in everything here. Here I put in the shadow that are casted on the water plants. Now the light is coming from above, of course. So on the underside of our water plants there will be shadow going on. It's important to put those in because they do give that feel of a water surface. And on the left corner I hardly have to put in anything. Just some scribbly lines for water that's floating around. And as I head downwards the drawing, I will press harder and harder on my pencil and get in darker and darker. Here on the left I put in some water plants too. And this is very important also because they are right in front of us. So I can get in detail and a little bit of shadow here. And that gives a great feel of perspective too. And some nice shadows in front. Here's some shadow on that wet water plant. And there's even a bubble underneath the leaf on the left. Those are those nice unnoticeable detail that will give your drawing that very special effect and make it very interesting for the watchers to view. Here I put in some darker plants that are way in the back, and that gives some kind of a horizon and some great perspective. Make your drawing more interesting to watch and more fun to draw, of course. Once you're happy, you can simply put in some extra shadow and go in as dark as you want. You can always go darker. But I just loved drawing this, just using the one pencil. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. The real-time tutorial, of course, is on my Patreon. But for now, I'll leave it up to you. I wish you all the success. And I will see you again in my next tutorial, Friday.